So I've been getting a lot of questions about user players in Madden. You're getting players with multiple KOs, and people want to know what is the best stack to use on your user defender in the game. We'll take a look here at the linebacker Fred Warner. Now, again, I understand my team is very, very good. You don't necessarily have to target the players I'm talking about. We're going to be talking about the AP stack, though, and there is going to be a player that you will want to target here. Just wait. But in general, the most popular ability for a linebacker is going to be the Lurk Artist. Good news is it's basically free on all linebackers that are dropping, and it has been for a while, so you can find a 0 AP Lurk Artist very, very cheap in this game. Now, what a lot of other players are doing on top of that is they are stacking a mid-zone KO to their linebacker. You might use a safety at linebacker, which can animate with a free pick artist, and then you have a mid-zone KO. For instance, the Ed Reed card comes to mind, and that is a great user stack in its own right. But I do want to introduce you guys to a brand new user stack. If you guys could do me a solid, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, drop a like on this video. If this video gets 300 likes, I will put out another video on some sneaky AP setups that you guys can run on the defensive side of the ball. If you guys are looking for more, make sure you guys also check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg, where we already have over 200 vault update videos focused on the pro metas and how to counter them. And on top of that, you guys are going to get access to each and every game plan in our members only Discord, where we have lab sessions every single week. So make sure you guys go check that out. $9.95 a month unlocks the entire website. So let's go ahead and talk about the Lurk Artist mid-zone KO. The really cool thing about this is that you can run whatever coverage you want. Typically speaking, you're going to be using in the middle of the field. Let's put ourselves in a situation where maybe our opponent tries to run a running back streak out of the backfield. They're hoping that we're going to play this post, and then they decide that they want to throw this route right here. This is a route that if it is thrown and you make contact with him as he's catching the ball, he will drop it. Now, of course, the mid-zone KO is a phenomenal ability. It covers a lot of field. Basically, what you're going to notice out of the mid-zone KO is that it is going to knock out any throw from 0 to 20 yards inside the numbers. And then on top of that, you guys can add an area of the field outside the numbers between 10 and 20 yards on the field. This is an incredibly vast area of field, and it allows you to really kind of roam wherever you want to. The sideline for shorter corners, the seams, Texas routes, drags, and you're gonna be able to get knockouts as long as your user is good. But there is a little bit of a downside to this. So what you might notice is that maybe you run the dollar defense, or maybe you run a 4-down lineman defense and you want to rush 3. As you guys know, when we play this game and you want to rush 3, you have to blitz your user and get the green bars over their head. So what this does is it changes you from a zone assignment into a user blitzer. So let's say your opponent throws a Texas route over the middle of the field and you hit them. They're still going to hold on to the ball because you changed your user from a zone assignment in which the mid-zone KO ability would actually activate into a blitz assignment. And that's going to make it so the game will not activate his mid-zone KO. So when you take a look there at that left linebacker, if my opponent were to throw this underneath and I were to hit him right as he catches it, you would fully expect a mid-zone KO to knock that out. But because I decided that I wanted to be able to get sheds with my front 3, I blitzed my user so that way they could shed, which gives up all of my zone knockouts. So let's say you have a linebacker. For instance, on my team, I've got a Chuck Howley card that plays linebacker, and it has mid-zone and flat zone, which basically allows me to knock out any throw with him 0 to 20 yards anywhere on the field. Well, in that situation, if I'm usering him, I'm giving up that entire area of the field just by blitzing him. So now we're in a spot, once again, where I'm kind of paying for an ability on this card where, you know, it's not really going to benefit me unless I just straight up lurk it for an interception. If I'm a step late, I have to respect another route, and they throw the ball underneath of my user and I go up to hit him, he's not going to drop the ball. So you can very easily start to work yourself into a position where maybe you're running a Lurk Artist for 0 and then a mid-zone KO for 0 or 1. But then on certain downs, based off of how many guys you want to rush, you have to actually blitz your user and you give up your ability to knock out the ball. So I want to discuss an alternative here that can kind of allow you to do either or. So now that you've seen the deficiencies of Fred Warner or the Lurk Artist mid-zone stack, I want to introduce you guys to the best possible user stack that you can run. And I'm going to put in Derwin James Jr.'s Genki Force card. Now, if you don't know anything about the Genki Force cards, they basically take a 93 Genki Force item in the first slot, then you could put a token in another slot, and then you're going to put another 96 Genki Force card into this slot. That's going to make them a 97 overall. Once you power them up all the way, they get this reinforcement elevated 3 X Factor. And this is an X Factor that is going to turn on after only 3 plays, and it will stay on the entire game for you. And this is a really, really good ability that you're going to want to utilize because it is going to get knockouts and defeat run blocks no matter what. It doesn't matter what assignment you're in. So when you talk about the blitzed user that we talked about with Fred Warner just a moment ago, this is a situation where even if your user is blitzed and you're only rushing 3, this player, if you make contact with somebody, can and will force knockouts. This basically gives you universal knockout whether you're in a zone assignment or you're in a blitz assignment. So for that reason, it is extremely, extremely valuable. Now, the other thing that's great about this is that there are a fair amount of players out there in the community that are running vanguards, and that basically causes impact block losses for players. So if you get blocked by a glowing tight end, your guy gets pancaked and the run game is that much more potent. Reinforcement also has out of my way built into that, so it will cancel the Vanguard. So if you guys struggle with Vanguard players that run the ball with angry runs running backs, this user linebacker with reinforcement is great in coverage, but it also neutralizes the blocks from the Vanguard. And then of course on this Derwin card, he does get a 0 AP pick artist and a 0 AP mid-zone KO. So it's not like he's a invaluable card while you're waiting the only 3 snaps for him to power up. So now I've explained what Derwin James can do. We've talked about reinforcement before in a previous video, stacked with a mid-zone KO. This is a really, really good stack no matter what. You can move this player to your user if you want to use a mid-zone KO reinforcement card at safety, and then you want to rush through, you can always kick him down to the linebacker role, which is what I'm about to do right here. Because I want to rush 3 in this hypothetical scenario, and I still want to be able to generate knockouts. So the ball snapped here. I'm going to stay a little bit close here. I'm going to hit him right as they catch the ball. And you see with that blitzed user assignment that I am able to force that knockout with the blitzed user. So once again, I'll blitz him. Let's go ahead and actually just call a different shell here. I'll call cover 2, blitz my user, and then put the running back on, you know, a streak or something here. Just that way I can show you consistently. Again, there's the blitz assignment. So you see it for proof. Snap the ball. We're going to throw it. I'm going to try to hit him. You see right there that I was able to get that knockout with my user. I also got a hit from another player. But again, it is a tried and true ability that you're going to be able to utilize with this as a user. So this is now going to allow you to lurk the entire field. You don't need knockouts. As long as you got a glowing reinforcement on your player, I would probably stack a pick artist or a lurk artist on top of that. Now, if you guys want to consider a player in this game, it is a little bit more pricey that you guys could utilize for this. I would actually recommend the cover athlete Troy Polamalu, who gets the reinforcement ability, albeit it is for a quite expensive cost, but it does not burn up one of your X Factor slots. This card will get a reinforcement passive ability, a collector's edition, for 3 AP. But you consider what that's worth, that's literally every KO in the game. It's flat zone, mid zone, deep in, deep out. And then honestly, it's also man coverage knockouts as well. But we're talking about this more so from a user perspective. 3 is a little bit rich for that stack, but it is still worthwhile, especially if you guys are playing in a AP system where maybe you want 3 glowing universal coverages. Well, you've already saved so much from the 3 glowing universal coverages that you probably do have quite a bit of AP free. Now all of a sudden you throw a reinforcement that allows you to use or a player that can be in a zone coverage assignment or a blitz assignment for the purpose of getting 3-man sheds, and you can still knock out any throw. That's honestly something that might be worth it to some of you. For others, you guys might kick it down to 2 X factors that are going to be universal coverages, and then your dedicated user will be a glowing reinforcement that allows you to do this trick as well. And again, if you guys struggle at all with the run game, those heavy toters that like to put Vanguard blockers, again, reinforcement will not be pancaked by the Vanguard. So this will allow you to shed on run plays quite easily. You'll get those wins in the open field and be able to prevent players from getting to the edge on those stretch RPOs that you guys struggle with. So this is a really, really good user AP setup that not a lot of players are talking about. The cool thing about it is that it meshes so beautifully with a video I did about 2-3 weeks ago talking about mid-zone KO for 0, pick artist for 0, and reinforcement on a safety or a corner as a universal knockout. Now all of a sudden you've got that weapon where maybe you use it as a slot corner or a safety, but then you're facing a player where you're like, man, I really want to rush 3 and my user's not knocking things out. You take that safety reinforcement, kick him to linebacker, and now all of a sudden you can do so, and you're going to be able to have much more impact on the field and be a lot more dangerous as a user. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, again, make sure you guys give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, check out gridirongameplans.gg. Working hard into the summer. Can't wait to get my updated tight open into my Kansas City Chiefs offense. That'll be coming this week. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys then. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.